して時間の流れを追い越すほどあの約束の日をずっと覚えてる何度でも君を好きになるいつだって私が先だから今日から独り占めするの君だけど二人の時間さえもChrono Clock!
Hello everyone and welcome back to Chrono Clock. And today we're going to start DD's route. But first we have to get the multiple choice segments out of the way, so let's do that. Here we have to choose go with DD and Makoto. And here we have to choose I'd rather be alone with DD. It kind of made me happy to know that a cute girl like Makoto would be jealous over me. In that sense, I did appreciate DD's offer. However, since you asked, I'd actually like to have a chance to be alone with you, DD.
What? 私とですか?
Yeah, I want to know more about you. This decision also had a certain insinuation about whether I preferred Makoto or DD. And so, I opted to follow my heart and choose DD. Her answer was silence. She looked down at her feet and then she raised her gaze again to look at me.
Wow.
After a beat, DD realized what that meant as well. That's when I started to feel embarrassed about it too. Well, I mean, you came all the way from the UK just to see me, didn't you? Not to mention that fiancé stuff. I made an effort to control my breathing, trying to disperse the heat of anxiety which was starting to simmer. When you first came right out and said you were my prospective fiancé, of course I was a little confused. But now, since I've spent more time with you, I've been thinking you're pretty cute and interesting to boot. And being able to have a fiancé like DD would make me pretty happy. That's why I want to get to know you better. And I think I'd like to try going out with you. I said it all at once, so that I wouldn't look so nervous.
つまりご主人様は許嫁のプロミスを果たしたいというのですか?
Well, I can't say I thought that far ahead, but...
Unbelievable!
Even as I tried to reassure DD, she yelled at the top of her lungs.
突然ご主人様が照れました。これは何のドッキリですか? もしかしてどこかでビデオ撮影してますか?
There's no one else here. Cool it. I bonked DD on the head, causing her to let out an amusing yelp.
しかしですね、ご主人様。突然こんなところでそんなこと言われたら、私もパニックになりますよ。
DD's panicking seemed to cause noticeable changes in the way she spoke. Having a blonde girl in a maid outfit wake me up one morning and say she was my fiancé had me in quite a panic too, you know.
それを言われると、お互い様という気がしてきます。
I guess so, now that I look back on it, though that was pretty funny. When she showed up in my class after that too, it was really confusing at first, but in retrospect, I can't help but laugh about it. Also, I'm really happy that you're my fiancé, but wouldn't it be a bit weird if we started dating right away just because we are engaged?
What?
The only reason we're supposedly engaged is because of a decision that our grandparents made without ever asking us. I don't want someone else to decide this for us. I want you and me to start over from scratch. Like, we are right here in front of each other now, after all.
なるほど。では、恋人同士の体験版をプレイですか?
Come on, let's not be facetious about this. I'd already learned things the hard way from Miu. Well, we can start by building a relationship that suits the two of us. I expected Didi to be overjoyed, but instead she cocked her head to the side slightly.
ちなみにですけど、ご主人様は言い名付けをキャンセルしますか？別にご主人様のトークしたことに反対ではないですけど。
Is something wrong?
いえ、ただ私にはあんまり時間が残っていないので。
What?
スタートラインが遠いと難しいこともあります。
Oh, I see. You're only here as an exchange student after all. Didi gave me a wordless smile. Seeing her smiling face gave me the illusion that she would be here by my side forever, but if we took too long to build our relationship, then the time when she would have to return to England would come sooner rather than later. I might have asked you this before, but how long are you going to be in Japan?
夏休みが終わるまではいます。それから先はまだ決めてませんね。
I see. In that case, I'll give you a clear answer before then. When I told her that, Didi's smile became ambivalent, as if she were troubled about something, but also flattered to hear me say it.
ご主人様のお返事、楽しみに待ってますね。
Something seemed off. I had a gut feeling that something was different about Didi's smile. Whatever it was, I couldn't put my finger on it.
ご主人様?
No, it's nothing. Yeah. Should we head back to the classroom then?
そろそろ休み時間もフィニッシュしちゃいますしね。
Didi laughed it off just as usual. It must have been my imagination after all. Well, come what may, in spite of that strange progression of events, I managed to tell her how I felt. As I walked back to class, I took a glimpse out the window. This was where it all began. One small step for me.
で、結局レイ君と DD さんは付き合うことにしたの?
Huh? After I returned to the classroom, Makoto gave me quite a shock by calling out to me straight away. What?
いや。
見てれば十分わかるし。
Makoto and Shuji's words, along with the way Didi laughed like that, caused all my other classmates to glare daggers at me. To be fair, it's my own fault for suddenly dragging Didi out of the classroom and confessing my feelings to her like that. If people start spreading rumors about me, I've only myself to blame. Let's just say we'll see what happens next. I omitted the specifics, but it didn't completely deny anything happened either.
よかったな、サンズイ。
いろいろと思うところはあるけど、仕方ないか。おめでとう、DD さん。
Good grief! Well, at least they gave us their blessings. That's the second small step taken. As soon as school let out, I got surrounded by my other male friends who pretty much forced all the other details out of me. Didi got dragged off by some other girls with an earful of dirt too. Well, I can understand why at least. It was evening by the time I got home, and by the time I'd eaten dinner and returned to my room, darkness had fallen. I'm beat. I threw my barely started homework onto my desk with a sigh. Even if I said we'll see what happens next, I was still feeling nervous about where our relationship would actually go. Logically, not being preoccupied with thoughts of Didi would let me be more productive. Nevertheless, I couldn't help but feel giddy about the whole situation. Ever since I realized how I felt about her, Didi had been on my mind front and center the entire day. She's living in the same house as me, I wonder. Unlike when I was infatuated with Miu, I could easily go over and talk to Didi at night if I really wanted to. As time went on, the urge to actually do that became harder and harder to resist. Is this love? God only knows. The anxiety I was soaking in didn't give me that impression. Is Didi still doing her maid work right now? It was around this time of day when they would be on final cleanup duty in the kitchen after dinner had been served. According to what I had heard from Michiru and the other maids, Didi evidently spent much of her time in the main building, diligently working away. I never paid that much attention to it before. I never even knew what kind of specific work she did. That was another thing about Didi. I wanted to know. What should I do? While mulling it over, I twiddled my pen between my fingers restlessly. I did want to talk to Didi after all. Would I get in the way of her work? Even so, that thought seemed to be just my embarrassment doing the talking. Well, I can worry about that after I go see her. If she were busy, I could just say hi and be off, but if she weren't, I'd be happy. There was no more reason for me not to walk the walk. I put down my pen and stood up. Alright, let's go. Wow! The instant I left my room, I found the person I'd been lost in thoughts of the whole time standing in front of me. You scared me.
私もです。
Running into each other like this was quite a surprise, so we had to take a moment and calm down. Didi was still in her maid uniform. Oh, are you still working right now?
いえいえ、もうメイド仕事はフィニッシュしましたよ。
I see.
何かご用でしたか？
Well, not exactly, but I've been a little concerned about you.
私がですか？なるほど。ご主人様によるメイドの視察タイムですね。
That's not it either. The master of the house inspecting his maids? Somehow, I felt a little aroused. Actually, I was thinking we could just have a chat.
おー、奇遇です。私もちょうどご主人様と一緒にゲームしようと思ってました。
Playing a game with a master? That phrase sure sounded ripe with insinuation too. Damn it, get a grip, Ray! Then why don't you change out of your maid uniform first?
このままでいいですよ。時間がもったいありません。ご主人様のために頑張ってメイド仕事も早めにフィニッシュしてきたんですから。
You were working even harder than usual?
Yes! 私もご主人様とトークしたかったです。
Is that so? I could feel my pulse quicken at her response. The thought of Didi working extra hard so she could chat with me made me happy. The thought that wanting to chat with me gave her that kind of motivation made me happy.
それで、ただトークするよりも前みたいにゲームしながらがいいんですけど。
Me too. It's fun playing games together. Oh, and would you be fine with talking in my own room?
もちろんです。私の部屋は散らかってますからね。
I can imagine. I invited Didi in and took out my own game console. I still felt a bit nervous around her. Though I was glad that I wouldn't have to talk to her without something else to have my mind on at the same time. I'd probably be less nervous if we were playing games during the conversation. Perhaps that's why Didi suggested the idea to begin with. I was such a naive for even entertaining that thought. Although neither of us fit very well into the definition of gamer once we started playing, Didi and I both ended up engrossed in the game.
ご主人様の動き、以前よりもスムーズですね。
I got a little distracted last time. Well, I could have gotten distracted again this time, but I tried to restrain myself. I just want to know more about her. I definitely don't want her to find out I'm gawking at her panties. It's not like what color she wore was all I wanted to know about her, but to be fair, it was still something I wanted to know. Regardless, I was still truly grateful for my chairless, tatami-floored room.
これなら前回の雪辱を果たせそうですね。
That's quite the obscure reference. I mean, Can't you just come out and call it revenge?
それだとキャラが薄くなりそうですからね。
I don't know, they look weak enough from where I'm standing. Even while we carried on with our dumb conversation, we both continued to mow down wave after wave of monsters. And I found a simple sort of happiness from how our breathing had become synchronized. I wonder if it could be a sign that we have good chemistry. You sound pretty jovial, Didi.
ご主人様の動きは合わせやすいなと思いまして。私たち相性がいいかもしれませんね。
I was thinking the same thing actually. Didi froze up. Her character followed suit and fell to the ground defeated. Ah,
あちゃー、やってしまいました。
Didi's smile seemed a little begrudging, but the corners of her lips were trembling as if she were being tickled. Well, it's nothing to come down on yourself over.
ご主人様が恥ずかしいこと言ったからですけどね。
Didn't you say it first?
まさかご主人様が打ち返してくるとは思ってませんでしたから。いつもは軽く流すかキャッチしやすいように返してくれますよね。
Yeah, I guess so. Didi being this genuine and straightforward with her affections made me hesitate bashfully. I wasn't mentally prepared for all this. I hadn't had the confidence to simply accept Didi's feelings as they were. I hadn't felt the right amount of commitment to deepen our bonds in these circumstances, but I guess I have you to thank for that change in me. Now things were different.
そう言われると照れますね。
I'm really thankful to have you. It's okay if it makes you happy to hear these things, alright?
そうですか？
Really?
いきなり喜ぶのはベリーハードですね。わーいとキャッホーのどちらで喜びましょうか。
That was a silly thing to agonize over. Eventually, we ended up losing ourselves in the game for over an hour, so we both agreed that a break was in order. Picking up from my conversation earlier, when I say I have you to thank, I mean that I'm thankful for a lot of little things you've done for me.
あんまり自覚ないですね。
Even so, you still did a lot for me. I feel like I owe you one, so I have an idea, although I guess that isn't the only reason I thought of it to begin with. Why don't the two of us go out somewhere tomorrow after school?
二人でご主人様からデートに誘われるのは初めてです。
A new thing. Yeah, I guess it is. We'd both hung out together around town a few times, but there wasn't any deeper romantic meaning behind them. Now, I had become aware of my own fondness for Didi. For now, though, just hanging out somewhere together was fine. Above all, just the two of us conversing like this made my heart felt like it would leap out of my chest.
それじゃあご主人様、明日はよろしくお願いします。
Didi smiled at me with a very slight air of nervousness about her. So cute! At that moment, I must have been making that same kind of expression back at her. Yeah, likewise. Although, you know we can't go anywhere that's too far away, right? So we might end up going somewhere around where I was showing you around the town before.
No problem ですよ。私はまだまだこのタウンの初心者ですからね。どこへ行っても楽しめる自信があります。
Still, I wouldn't really want you to walk around in the hot sun too much. It'd probably be hard on you.
Sorry でございます。
Don't worry about it. We just have to find somewhere cool to hang out.
お任せします。私もご主人様と遊ぶならどこでも楽しめますから。
Anywhere, you say? I tried to tease her by giving her a dirty look, but she just nodded, my little insinuation flying right over her head.
Yes! いつでもどこでもご主人様と一緒にいるだけでハッピーです。
It was extremely apparent that those were Didi's true feelings. She was very straightforward with her affections, not needing to show restraint. It was kind of embarrassing, but it made me happy all the same. So I told her my own true feelings as well. Yeah, I want to spend time with you too. Looking into her eyes, we both nodded in agreement while blushing slightly. Ah, jeez, a date might be a little too much for me. Just being with Didi like this is making me fall for her even more. But I still want to know more about her. If I learn more about her, then maybe, even more than I do now, Let's have fun tomorrow.
はい、楽しみに待ってますね。